as the entire internet is in a war for our attention, and that war is being fought in a large part by algorithms, right, that the social media companies employ to figure out what you want to watch or view or read online, and then keep feeding you more of that to keep you on their platform because that's how they make money. And now we have the incentive for you or any independent creator or non-independent creator, anyone putting anything on social media, to focus their product or their output, their content rather, to please the algorithm because that's how they're going to get seen. And now we have AI coming in the picture, which is already people are using to create their content. And the combination of this is challenging, I would say, human creativity, and it's becoming something where people are creating for machines instead of humans, right? Algorithms and now AI. And the question, is it worth playing that game? Is it worth being on social media and not just being on it, but trying to succeed at it, right? When it's being ruled by algorithms and now AI coming. In this video, I'm going to get into all that, all my thoughts on that, because I've been heavily focused on using AI lately, and I have an idea of where I think it's going and how you can be ready and succeed in this new world that we're entering into. So let's get into it. While I was a filmmaker, writer, and director, and I was in Los Angeles and Hollywood, and I was doing that, and most of my personal branding and networking was going on in person in Los Angeles, and I wasn't big on social media. Then, long story short, pandemic hits and shuts down the film industry, and that's when I start to look at building my personal brand online, and I'm not sure what it is. I spent a ton of money on courses and coaching programs, like overall around $20,000 US, and I'm spending all that time and effort to craft the perfect personal brand online. And as I start to put stuff out, I'm judging the results by the numbers that I'm getting, right? The views or the likes and the followers. And of course, starting out, I didn't get a lot. And that was very discouraging. And I started to try to figure out, how do I make stuff that the algorithm will like? But that became a focus more on quantity versus quality. I could feel myself not really trying to make the best thing that I could, content-wise, value-wise, and more just, what does the algorithm like? How do I game the algorithm? And this started to mess with me because it didn't feel good to me. And this also another thing that I was experiencing, because previously I had social media accounts, but I didn't spend much time on them on social media. And now, because I was trying to build a personal brand online, so I was not just creating, but I was also consuming a lot more, both to see what else was out there and what I could be inspired by or where I could fit in, but also then engaging more. So taking more content to engage more in it, because that's one of the ways you can grow on social media, of course. And I was realizing how much the stimulation was messing with my brain. That our brains are not built for TikTok, right? We didn't evolve to have that kind of constant, intense stimulation over and over again for hours at a time, or even really for more than a few seconds when we're getting chased by a lion or something. This is really messing and rewiring our brains. And now, once you start to get that stimulation, you need more of it, or you start to feel bad, right? Because you're trying to get back to that same high. You felt good. The brain releases dopamine and other feel-good chemicals, and then you want to get it again. And I realized how much it was messing with my focus, because I would not have the stimulation. I wanted to get it again. It's like the same kind of effect that drugs can have on the brain, which is you start to get addicted to that stimulation, and which then you can't just sit and focus and work. Or I was experiencing that, right? And historically I was a screenwriter. I wrote movie scripts, which are long. I have to sit and write for hours. So I did have deep focus. I did have really good focus abilities, but I was realizing that all this time on social media was messing with my focus. And so that was another effect that it was having on me. And I gave up pretty quickly on one personal brand. Then I would start all over. I would do a new course or coaching program and start all over and create a whole new personal brand, start to put out content, I wouldn't blow up, not get results that I was hoping for, which were obviously way outsized expectations, not realistic. And then I would start over and go again. And I think this happens a lot, of course. I think people give up too quickly because they don't blow up right away. Even though almost no one blows up right away. Like it's 1 in a million or more that somehow hits something right away and right, goes viral. But the thing is that it seems like people blow up right away. It just seems like that because we all of a sudden notice someone who's going viral and it seems like they came out of nowhere, but really most of them have been working for years and then finally hit some kind of tipping point. The top guy on YouTube, obviously one of the top creators in the world, Mr. Beast, he's super young, so it seems like he just blew up right away, but he's been doing it since he was a kid. He's been doing it since he was like 11 or something. And so he was doing YouTube content for years before he really blew up. But we are now becoming this looking for short-term results too much. And we want that feeling too of the short-term results, right? Because we're used to getting so much dopamine hits from just consuming. And you get dopamine hits also when you get likes or follows. And so we're looking for that and we don't get it, give up, as opposed to thinking more long-term. And so for myself, I've been making the shift now. This is like day 35. I've been making these videos every morning and uploading them. And I'm shifting my focus. I'm not worried about views. If you look at the views on these videos, there's not a lot. If I was focused on that, I would have given up at this point. But I'm like shifting my mentality to focus more on just trying to create as much value as I can and not worry about the results right now. And this has been affected by, one, just realizing what I've been telling you in this video, that it hasn't worked going the other way. And then 2, just having doing some in-person stuff where I gave value. I've taught some improv classes, some stand-up comedy class. I've done some workshops to help creators get through their blocks and into action. And just seeing an impact that I can have just on a few people was meaningful to me. And it was like, oh, okay, so if I'm doing content online and I just have effect on a few people, that actually is meaningful. Even though we're looking for like millions of views and followers and all that, but actually having a meaningful impact on a few people was actually really meaningful. That's what I experienced in real life. And so I taking that online and just saying, actually, that could be meaningful. I don't just need to get 1 million views. And I've experienced that making these videos for a month. I've gotten a couple really sincere comments. Somebody said, on one of my videos, they commented, "I needed this. Thank you for making this," something like that. And that was really meaningful to me, even though the video maybe got 10 views or something. But for one person, he needed it and it was meaningful to him. And so that was meaningful to me. And that actually gave me a little boost and kept me going, making these videos. All right, I heard I had a meaningful impact on one person. That is meaningful. Let me keep going. And that's, where my mind is now, is just trying to be authentic, which, what does authentic mean? That's an overused word at this point, but really just speaking like my truth, I would say. I think authentic, maybe people start confusing that with sharing everything there is to share about you. And I think it's up to you what you share, but I think it's authentic if you really mean it. That's all I think of authentic is I really mean it. I'm really me. I'm not playing a character. I'm not trying to mimic other people I see online or put out what I think the algorithm will like. I'm actually just speaking from my mind. And that was part of the whole thing with these videos is that for the first 30 days, I sat down, I had no script, no plan, just a initial idea to start off, and then I would just talk. And so that got me used to speaking authentically, just because I didn't have any script or anything to go from. And now what I'm doing is I took the first 30 days, took those transcripts, put them into an AI, Claude AI, which is another large language model like ChatGPT, and asked it to create the next 30 days, just ideas, topics for the next 30 days. And then I have the Claude write me an outline for each video now after 30, using but you drawing from my content from the first 30 days. So it's making me an outline, but it's just it's pulling from all the videos that I made. So it's my content. So now I'm getting a little more organized with a bit of an outline, like a bullet point outline, but it's from my stuff. So I'm still just speaking authentically. I'm just getting these prompts to remind me of stuff that I've said in previous videos so I could work that in or expand or use the story, etc. I think that the message that I guess for this video that I'm trying to get into is that social media, I think, is still worth being active on and trying to build your own personal brand on and launch whatever project or business you have as well. I think it is only becoming more and more the place where everything happens, where businesses get built, where relationships are made, where personal brands are built. But shifting the focus from the short to the long term, which is one of the hardest things to do, I think, in life, and especially when you have something like social media, where the short-term results can be really big. All of a sudden, a video can just go viral out of nowhere. And that is hoping for a lottery ticket. Forget that, forget the short thing, forget the short term, and just focus on the long term. And anything that happens in the short term is just a bonus. But keep your eye on the long term. The long game is to build up your own voice. That's one of the most important things you can do is build your own voice, because you're going to need to stand out in what's coming, with the amount of AI generated content coming. The only way you're going to stand out is with a very unique voice. If you sound like other people, you're going to get engulfed in a sea of AI content, AI generated content, right? Because AI generated content sounds like a lot of people, right? That's how it works. They combine a lot of different people and put it out. So it's going to sound like what's already out there. So the only way you're going to stand out is really developing your own unique voice. So your content, only you can make it, and it's really unique to you. And anything that fails, right, doesn't work, is just a learning. It's just a stepping stone, right? If you're playing a long game, if you're planning to do this for years, each video you put out doesn't mean that much because it's going to be one of thousands or whatever. So that's part of the reason I'm doing a daily video, is just so each one becomes less, the more I do, each one becomes less of a big deal because I'm just going to make another one tomorrow. And so that's one of the reasons I'm doing the videos this way, is just sitting down and talking. Because if I spend a week writing it, scripting it, memorizing it, shooting it in different ways, and then editing it and putting all sorts of graphics, animation, if I spend a whole week making a video and no one watches it, that would be a little more soul crushing and a little harder to get back up from. But since I'm just sitting down every day, making a video where I just talk, if no one watches, okay, so what, I spent 20 minutes or whatever talking, that's it, right? Not a big deal if no one watches it. So that's helped me to just keep doing them every day, because it's not as much of an impact on me. It doesn't crush me because I didn't spend so much time and work into it that, and no one watched it. So I would also recommend starting like that. You don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it, recording a daily YouTube video, but just something where you're making a large volume and you're not so worried about each one. And then as you go on, then you start to focus more on quality. But first, focus just on quantity. So like none of them are a big deal and you're not spending too much time on them and you're just getting used to making them. And then as you go on, you start to focus on quality, right? Which is what I'm doing with these videos. Like I said, the first 30 days, sat down, just a basic idea to start, and then just talk, no plan, whatever. Now for these next 30 days, I'm using a bullet point outline that was, again, generated by an AI tool, Claude, from my transcripts of the first 30 days. So now there is, right, I'm shifting a little bit to focus a little more on quality, right, with these outlines, but it's just a little shift. And I'm not putting too much work into it. I'm not spending a bunch of time writing it, again, so that it doesn't have such high stakes. Each one doesn't have high stakes, but they're all still authentic. They're all still coming from me. The outlines come from my transcripts, and then what I'm actually saying during the video in response to the bullet points is just coming from me. I'm just making it up off the top or from that. In other words, they're remaining authentic, but we're starting to shift a little more toward quality, and then I'll keep going in that direction. So over time, the quality will improve. And also the quality just improves the more you do stuff, even if without even doing any kind of intentional plan or shift. Just as you do anything, think about anything you've done, sports, instruments, whatever, work, the more you do it, the better you get. The quality will naturally, organically improve the more you do it. But the key is to do it a lot so that quality does improve. Yeah, so stay focused on creation, the creating of it, and try to do it a lot so that your quality improves. And don't worry about the results to start, right? I'm not saying never worry about the results, never identify things that the algorithm likes and maybe affect what you do in response to that or what's working online. I'm not saying never do that. There's a time and a place for that, and that can be obviously effective strategies. What I'm saying is, first, just make a lot and keep making stuff, get used to making stuff, get in the rhythm, and get to the point where the quality is starting to get good. And then you can add in the other tactics to succeed on social media. But again, I just want to reiterate one of the biggest messages that I'm trying to get out to everyone is that AI is going to not take over, but content from AI is going to be everywhere. And also AI tools are going to be used in the workplace, in companies, and to replace current jobs. And so the only way that you're going to stand out online or in the job market is with a unique voice, a unique skill set, a unique creativity, right? So you have to be able to express or do things in a very unique way that only you can do, because otherwise you can be replaced by AI, or you will be just drowned out by AI content. So it's really important that you are developing your own unique voice, your own skill set, right? Your own unique combination of skills and creativity. So you're just unique and you can stand out online, and then you can also stand out in the job market or wherever you are doing your thing. Really important that everybody starts now to develop their own unique creativity, their own voice, and so they don't get replaced or drowned out by AI content, tools, etc. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow for the next video.